Save the day. Mighty Mouse saves the day. So beautiful. Take in that face of God. Close your eyes. Envision the face of God. Divine presence. We open our hearts today to the truth of who we are. Help us release every story of not being enough. May we remember that your love has never left us, because it has always lived within us. May these words awaken us to our own divine nature. And so it is. Amen. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Joy Within. The joy, the beautiful music that's him. So I want to thank you all for being here, on YouTube and watching later. And I welcome you all. Welcome to a safe place here at Unity. Welcome here. It's lovely to look around and see all the familiar faces and ones that I have not met. Seeing such beauty, such light, such love here. I'd like to thank Roger for the inspiring choices of today's song. Circle of Wisdom, I Choose Joy, The Face of God, I Am Light, and All Is Well. How perfect those songs are. It just pairs perfectly with my talk this morning in this workshop this afternoon. So holy wow on that. Holy wow. Thank you, Roger, and the music team. Jerry, Carol, Pete, Sue and Julia, you all are wonderful, and it's beautiful listening to you. So this morning, I'd like to discuss something that sounds very simple: loving yourself. We've all heard that. We all experience that. But the true nature is really going within. It's taking care of yourself. It's getting enough sleep, eating nutritious meals, staying active, walking, hiking. Well, it's flat for me. I'm not a big hiker of up and downs. Setting healthy boundaries with relationships, connecting with loved ones, and today, especially connecting with your divinity, your divine essence of who you truly are. I know on my journey, loving myself has been a journey of self-discovery and self-actualization, and also one of the most challenging experience of my lifetime. I've invested thousands and thousands of dollars of self-help books, workshops, retreats, right? Money. I used to say, geez, I should have taken the Mercedes. That's taking care of myself, right? Nice little Mercedes. So I'm sure you all have done the same thing. I mean, how many of us, you got to read this book, right? Because we're inspired. And we want that inspiration to go to others. And that's when we want them to, or invite them to read the same material that we do. And that's one of the beauties of coming to this congregation and being with like-minded people who are on the same journey of discovering and realizing their own divinity and truth. So loving oneself is actually one of the deepest practices that we can undertake. Loving yourself, totally giving into your divinity, your light, and loving yourself just the way you are. Now that's very important because we all want to say, how can I improve myself? What can make me better? But in actuality, it's actually loving yourself just the way you are. The joy, the sadness, the laughter, the tears, the pains and pleasures, the love, the hate. You see where I'm going with this? It's our humanity. It's being human. That's what we're all here. Look around. We're all human. We all have similar emotions, similar paths that we go on. And it's our humanness. And once we understand our humanness, it begins to open up our heart. So understanding that every moment is a blessed moment. It cannot be otherwise. It just can't. That is the law. Every moment is a perfect moment. Because God says, however you want to look at God, that we are divine. We are divine. So the self journey and our journey is recognizing yourself as an expression of God, how you understand it. It's realizing that God is within. However you want to say God. Brigid would say, and I forget it, the blanket of God. Does anybody remember that?
The blanket over the mystery.
What? Say that again?
I don't have
God is the blanket that goes over the mystery to give it shape.
God is the blanket that goes over the mystery that gives it shape. Isn't that cool? The mystery that gives it shape. However you want to experience that, that is the God. So let me ask you, what if you really, truly loved yourself just the way you are? Just the way you are. If you truly loved yourself just the way you are. Many of us have spent years believing that humility means putting ourselves last, denying our needs, believing that somehow we have to earn God's love or another's love. We have to earn that. And that goes into the whole thing of parenting and conditioning, as we go on. God reminds us that God is love. And because God is love, our source, really, love is our true nature. And you'll experience that because we want to love. I love you. Your little kid, when they say, oh, I love you, right? We teach them. We show them. I love you. I love you. Anybody hear of Panache Desai? Right? Few Panache Desai people. I've been following him for quite some time. He was on Oprah, and his notoriety took off, and he wrote You Are Enough and Discovering Your Soul Signature. See, I'm giving you a book. So you read it, That's my little share here. He shares wisdom. He's on every day. You just Google it, and he has a talk on it from 8:30 to about 9:20. It's very interesting. So he says that healing happens when we stop resisting and embracing our authentic self. And that's where living begins. Living begins when we stop resisting ourselves. It's when you have experience in life, not from the survival mode, but rather from the living mode, your perspective and your experience. So it's not surviving, it's living life, the joy, the face of God. It's living in that divinity. So when you know your mortality, when you know you're going to die, and you embrace that true, it is true, right? I mean, everybody talks about living eternally, and we got these vampires. Who in the heck would want to be a vampire, right? I don't want to live hundreds of years. So the fact that you embrace your mortality and knowing that you're going to die, you begin to open up a concept of living life. Your fear decreases, and you're not afraid to live what life experience has to offer you. This invitation is very powerful because healing begins with acceptance rather than judgment. And when we accept ourselves and our humanity, that's when life begins. That's when the joy happens. By being joy, all that other stuff kind of melts away. When you concentrate in joy, in the thought, all that other stuff kind of transforms itself. So we allow ourselves to be the light and love that we are. Healing is not about the physical body or the emotional body. It's realizing that we are love, light, in source itself. Now, many of you might know that, I got my Reiki master, if you're there, from William Rand, who's like the guru of Reiki, who has initiated and giving talks and programs on Reiki for thousands of people. I'm following him, right? He's the top guy. It's like going to Harvard, right? You get a degree from William Rand. Well, anyways, he has a heart attack. William Rand, who's done this healing work for thousands of people, has a heart attack. I go to my head and I say, well, what's that all about? Right? So healing really can't be about the body. Ram Dass, Ram Dass, right? He has a stroke. So all his bodily functions are not working. So healing cannot be about the physical body, nor the emotional body. So really, healing is remembering who we are, remembering that we are divine beings, remembering that we are the source. Healing is remembering we're love or light. We are loved. We are the source. So unity teaches this concept. This morning and afternoon, right now, I'll explore how loving ourselves is the path to joy, to peace, and accepting our humanness. So let's explore how loving ourselves is not the destination of our spiritual journey. It's the doorway to ourselves. It's the truth of who we are. So one of the things that unity teaches us that God is everywhere, fully present. The first principle tells us that there's one presence, one power, active in the universe and in our lives. The good, the omnipotent. God is everywhere. And if God is here, then God is within me. So if God is omnipotent, then God's love must also be expressing itself through our lives, through our experience. Makes sense, right? So we go with the notion that we are not broken. There's nothing to fix. We're simply remembering that we are a source, that love itself. So think about that. Our humanness. What we call mistakes, what we call challenges, what we call creative beings, all of it. That's our humanity. That's our humanness, embracing it all. So we are always remembering ourselves through joy. We've all experienced it sometimes that we believe that God lives somewhere outside of ourselves. God lives within ourselves. Every person carries a divine spark. Now, what that means is that when we criticize ourselves, shame ourselves, or constantly tell ourselves that we are not enough, we are forgetting who we are. And we're just forgetting. We're just forgetting. That's okay. So you forget. It's like the old expression, when you get off the horse or you fall off the horse, you get back on, right? You pull up your panties on and you go forward. We're just forgetting. No big deal. No big deal. So I'd like to invite you to close your eyes, if you're comfortable doing so. And just imagine that you're standing before a beautiful stained glass window. You're seeing all the colors, the patterns, the themes. Now, would you criticize the window because it has different colors? Would you reject one section because it isn't like another? Would you judge the themes in the stained glass windows? Perhaps not. You might stand there admiring the whole masterpiece, all of it. Its colors, its shapes, its themes, its lightness, the darkness, all of the beautiful stained glass window. God sees us that way. Not as broken pieces, not as broken people, but as sacred expressions of divine itself. Now, you can open your eyes. I wanted you to get a clear picture of what we look at and how we view things, and how really, when you look for the beauty, you see the beauty. So our essence is divine. It doesn't say we become divine if we meditate enough. It doesn't say we're divine if we forgive everyone. It doesn't say we're divine once we've fixed all our flaws. It says our true nature is love, light, and source itself. We're not broken. There really is nothing to fix. That was very difficult for me as a social worker. My job just went out the window. What are we going to do? We got to fix people. But that's not true. We can invite them on our journey of self-discovery, our journey of our divinity. But really, there's nothing to fix. We simply carry our layers of pain, of grief, of shame, of fear, and that hides our true identity. So it's like a game that we've incarnated in. We know we're pure inside of us, but yet we have this mask, the onion, right? Peeling the onion, of going to the center. It's like a play. Shakespeare had it down pat. The tragedy and the drama of life. He had human nature, like to a T. He understood the complexity and yet the simpleness of what all attracts us. So here's another example. Imagine you have a diamond. I chose 8 carats. It's big. And it's covered with mud. Still a diamond, right? Still a diamond. The mud just changes what we see. It never changes the diamond. So we go back to our beliefs. Beliefs that we have this in our head. The things that talk. A friend of mine told me years ago, she said, so you're having a conversation with someone, huh? Are they in the room? I go, no. Well, then you're not really having a conversation with them. You're really having a conversation with whatever's going on in your mind, right? So that was very helpful to me. So if I'm reminiscing about something, and it's the person, it's probably best to talk to them rather than think of what they might do. They might do this. I could do this. How would they do? I mean, it just goes down a rabbit hole. So these beliefs that we have ourselves are mistaken wounds of our identity. The wounds of that I'm not lovable, I'm a failure, I'm too old, I'm not enough. The stories that we tell ourselves, they're not true. They're just stories. Unity here, the principles that we learn, the things that we say to ourselves, calls us back to the truth of who we are. I am God's beloved. I am worthy. I am whole. I am enough. I am enough. There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing to fix. Because I am source. So we learned early in life that love was conditional. Classical conditioning. Pavlov's dog salivating with the steak and the bell. Then it hears the bell and it salivates. And then it soon realizes, I'm hoping I'm getting the steak soon. Because the bell doesn't work. So we might have received this classical conditioning when we're young that, oh, you're a good little boy, right? You're a good little girl. And we teach that to young kids. And then the kid learns or realizes that, geez, I better do good things because then I get praise, right? I get praise. So it's reinforced and reinforce. So we learn maybe at that point maybe to hide our emotions. We may believe that mistakes make us unworthy. And that sometimes brings us to the critic of what we've learned. The Course in Miracles tells us that the mind deals with two competing internal voices. The voice of fear, guilt, the illusion, and the voice of God, the voice of truth and peace. The Christ within you, the Christ consciousness, says that you are loved. You belong. That you are never separate from God. This voice that we are practicing to trust. We practice it. Because our thoughts create our reality. It has creative powers. It reminds us that when we consistently believe, what we consistently believe influences how we experience life. If every morning you get up and you say, I'm not enough, boy, I'm a failure. No one appreciates me. These beliefs begin to shape our experiences. So what happens if you change that talk and you begin each day differently? And you say, I am created in divine love. I am guided, inner self, intuition. I am worthy. I welcome God's goodness. I am never alone. These thoughts begin to open the doors that fear has kept closed. So, change the story. Thank you for the love that is within me and the love that is all around me. And simply say, I'm here. I am loved. I am safe. I am enough. And imagine a warm golden light filling your heart, the light that asks nothing from you. It simply loves you. It doesn't care. It doesn't care. God doesn't care. He loves you, she loves you, it loves you, they love you. It doesn't care what you do. It just doesn't care. So knowing this spiritual truth is quite wonderful. It's life-changing. It's speaking to yourself kindly, setting healthy boundaries, resting when you're tired, forgiving yourself for everything, and then realizing that there's nothing to forgive. You're just being who you are. So I'll share with you that, in closing here, a simple spiritual practice. Every morning, you might want to place your hand on your heart and saying, I am beloved expression of divine light. Look into your eyes and slowly say, I honor the divinity within me. I release yesterday. I welcome today. I choose love. I am God's beloved. So instead of saying, what's wrong with me, ask, what is asking to be loved? Because there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with any of us. So in closing, I say awakening isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who we always have been. It teaches you that the Christ has never left us. Our task isn't to earn God's love. Our task is to receive it. Our task is to receive it. This is transformation. That is love. Thank you for all being who you are. You are all magnificent. And so it is. Thank you.